Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sad Sangat Ji, we're going through the Charitropakhyan series. Today we're going to be exploring the 18th Charitr. And we went through the 17th Charitr last time. And these two Charitras will be related to each other. So for that reason, a little revise is necessary. Revision is necessary. In the previous Charitr, we talked about someone named Bitramati, who was a wife of a Mughal, and presumably a Mughal herself, located in Afghanistan. We were told a little bit about her characteristics. She was someone who was skilled in the ways of jantar mantar, in the ways of magic, and she goes on to place a bet with her friend, with her Sakhi, and the bet was that I can deceive my husband in such a cunning way where I will in front of his very own eyes make love with another lover of mine, right? In that moment there was a little conversation which we touched upon but we didn't go deeply into. In that moment her friend says that I bet I can do something even better, okay? And the bet she says is now going to be expanded upon this Charitr. The bet she says is that I can make love with my second lover, right? Because she also was cheating on her spouse. I can make love with my second lover in such a way that I will make my spouse, my husband, open up my nala, and then he's the one that's going to be closing my nala as well after I'm done with making love with my lover, right? And nala meaning like the waistband of your pants, your pajami, so that kind of knot that you can tie to keep your pajami up, right? So in this Charitr, Guru Sahib will now expand on that bet that she played, right? And a few things came to my mind while I was thinking about the previous Charitr. And this often happens where, at the moment you take in that story, but later on does the story speak to you, in different ways. And one thing that really spoke to me about that Charitr was her friendship, right? Like the word Sakhi in Gurbani always refers to a Gurmukh, someone who is a friend of yours on this path of spirituality who will take you to the Guru, right? Who will guide you to the Guru. But in this sense, she had a friend on her path of deception, right? She was deceiving her husband, and so was her friend. They were both partners in that kind of crime. Then you move on and the Guruji is explaining the analogy of the moon and the sun, if you remember. And Guruji kind of talks about the sun and the moon, how they replace each other when nighttime comes and when morning comes and vice versa, like a jail like a jail cell. And in a jail cell, the jail warden replaces the jail and the other second jail warden depending on the day shift and night shift, right? And so I thought about that, and it kind of makes me feel that this world is a jail. And the wardens of this jail is the sun and the moon, right? And they replace each other. And I felt like that was maybe the analogy that Guru Sahib was hinting at. So let's continue with this, the 18th Charitr, which is a 17th tale, and we'll take it from there. So Dohra katha satravi ram kab uchri hit chitalai. Okay, this is very important. So far, the mention of Guruji's pen names, right? Poet pen names have not been mentioned thus far, right? And within the Charitras, within the stories itself, right? They have not been mentioned. So we've been through 16 tales, right? And 17 Charitras. But in those 16 tales, Guru Sahib has not mentioned their pen name, right? So within Dasam Gurbani, Guruji uses two prominent pen names. One is Shyam, and the other one is Ram. Yeah. So there's different theories on Guruji's pen names, and it's not the time to get into those theories. But one theory that I heard, which I really resonate with, was that when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj took Prakash on this world, and at that time, Jiro Maharaj naam karan sanskar hoya. See, when Maharaj went through a naming ceremony, right? The Hukamnama that came up was from Bhagtan Di Bani, which mentions all three of these names, Gobind, Ram and Shyam, and based off those three, based off that Hukanama, Mata Gujri ji and Pita Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, the mom and dad of Guru Gobind Singh ji Maharaj, suited that these three names will be suitable for our son, right? So the prominent name being Guru Gobind Singh, which we all know, but then the other two names come in as their kavi names, as their pen names, as their poet names in their Gurbani. And poets often had this kind of tradition, right? So their name would be something else, but their poet name would be something else, right? So Guruji uses these two names interchangeably. So katha satravi, so this 17th katha, right? So again, this is 18th Charitra, but this is 17th tale, so that's why satravi is coming up. This 17th katha is being said by Ram Kavi, right, by Guru Gobind Singh ji, hit chitalai with a lot of love, right? Guru Sahib ji bade pyar na, bade chitala ke, bade hit means love, chit meaning dhyan nal, with a lot of focus, a lot of concentration. Bohar katha bandan nimit man mein karyo upay. And then I'm Bohar katha bandan mit man mein karyo upay. I'm saying this katha because for the khalasa of the bandhan. So we're all stuck in this bandhan of Kaam. We're all stuck in this bandhan of lust, of greed, of attachment, of pride, of anger. These 5 vices that bother us. And we're all stuck in that bandhan. Guru Sahib says to break that bandhan, or to teach you about where you're stuck in. Right? Because first of all, to understand the escape, you need to understand the jail. Right? It's a very important point. To understand your escape from the jail, you need to understand where the jail is. Right? So any jail breakers or people who escape from jail, if you look into their documentaries and stories, they first understood what jail they're in, right? What the environment's like, and only then, once they figured out, okay, what time do the guards change? Where do the keys hang? How many people are in the jail cell? Where is the jail located? Once they go through all that, they make a scheme and then they break through the jail, right? So Guru Sahib is now explaining to us the jail we're in, of Kaam, of Krodh, of Lobh, Moh, Ankaar, right? So Namit means vaste, for the understanding of this bandhan, I'm explaining this katha to you. Man mein karyo upay. So that you can have upay, a solution to how to break. So upay means solution. A solution on how to break this bandhan, this jail cell you're in. Okay. Tam nikata ke huti hod badi jehinar. So near the house of Bitanmati, the first character, the first female character we got introduced to in the previous Charitra. Near her house, Tam means house, there was another hod badi. Badi means, it's an Arabic Farsi, it's a Persian Arabic word that means negativity. Badi meaning very negative type of approach to anything, right? For example, Guru Nanak Dev Ji in Rag Talang, they say a Shabad, Yak Arj Guftam Peshto Dar Gos Kun Kratar. Over there they say, Dar Roz Gastam Dar Hava Kardem Badi Khiyal. I'm going to explain the word Badi. That day and night, I'm stuck, my mind is stuck in the wrong thoughts. Badi Khiyal, very bad Khiyal. Badi meaning bad basically, right? My mind is stuck in such bad thoughts, right? So, hor badi jehe nar meaning istri, a woman, nari. There was another woman there who we were introduced to in the previous Charitra. Another hor badi, another bad woman, you can say, someone who is filled with deception, who is not walking the path of dharma, yeah, not walking the path of righteousness. Tenuhu kareo Charitra ek so tum suno sudhar. Unne ek Charitra khedya Khalsa ji aap ji sudhar ke suno. Yeah? So Guru is speaking to us, yeah? And this is really good hawala, this is really good source to see Guruji talking to the Khalsa. Yeah? So they said, oh Khalsa ji, I'm going to tell you that Charitra that she played, the deception she played, to see apne kan la ke suno. Yeah? Give me your ear and listen. Okay. Chaupai, Sri Chal Chidr Kaur Tehinama. So what was her name? Guruji named her, and going to use the name here. The name is Sri Chal Chidr Kaur. Yeah? Her name was Sri Chal Chidr Kaur. Yeah? So we'll break that name up a little bit. Chal means to deceive someone. Yeah. So Chal Chidr means the one who deceives. And Guru Sahib says Shri. Shri means Shirmor. Shirmorta. Someone that's really high. Yeah, look at the city. So before we mention someone's name, we'll say city. Like for example, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Shiromni Guru Gobind Singh Ji, right? Here Guru says put the word Shri in front of her. Okay, in terms of deception, in terms of deceiving others, she is the highest. Sri Chal Chidr Kaur. And Kaur, and as we know, within the Sikh community, Bibiyan are usually have the last name of Kaur. Yeah, and so it's the same word here. Kaur. It means royal. It's a royal name, just like how Singh was used for kings. Yeah, Kaur were used for those women, those female who had royal ancestry or who were in a royal position of some sort. So her name was Sri Chal Chidr Kaur. Okay. Duje Rahat Mughal ki Bama. She was also a wife of Mughal. Tin jo kiya so Charitr sunao. That Charitr she did, that deception she did. I will speak it to you. I will speak it to you. Ta te tumre hirde rajaun, and make your heart happy. Guruji says Rakhalsa कि मैं तोड़े hirde rajan वासे ए katha tanu sunainga. I'm going to speak this katha to you of this Charitr she played to please your hearts. Adil. Ek divas tin mehdi lai mangai kya. One day she plays out. Remember, this is a bet she played with her friend, and now she's going to execute that bet. So one day she calls for her husband. She says, "Oh, let's get me some mendi." Right? Mendi is henna. So she gets some mendi, and she tells her husband, "Put some mendi on my hands." So the husband puts the mendi, or someone puts the mendi on her hands. Leap apne haath pate dikhaye kya. After her hands were covered with mendi, she shows it to her husband. Yaar dusre sang yo kahe sudhar kya ho eho tumare teer tihare pyar kya. So she says, and just on this one side she's showing her husband her hands. On the other side, she had explained to her second lover, right, her boyfriend, that for your love, pyar kya, tihare pyar kya. Tihare pyar means for your love. Yeah? Tere pyar vaste, I'm going to come near you. Tir means to come near. I'm going to come near you soon. Yeah, so she's explaining what she's going to do to her boyfriend. चौपई पी प्यारो आया जब जानियो यार दूसरे संग पखानियो मैं अब ही लग के हित जय हो. Right? So she shows her hands back to the side she was on. She shows her hands to her husband and she says, I'm going to just quickly go to the bathroom. Yeah, lag means number one. Yeah, so like in a lot of like for example sadhu boli in the talk of or the speech of the saints, they will say number one, they will say lagu shanka. And number two, they'll say Dirgh Shanka. And what that means is that Lagu meaning short, so even especially when we're learning Gurumukhi, we learn about Lagu Matra, right? Those syllables that are short, right? Which are Ankaar, Sihari, and Mukti. So, and then we learn about Dirgh Matre. Dirgh means long, right? And those are everything else. Bihariyan, the Lankard, so on and so forth, Hode, Kanode. So, the sadhus will say lagu shanka. Shanka means a doubt, right? So the doubt of the mind is shanki, right? So sorry, the mal of the mind is shanki. The mal meaning the filth. What is the filth of the mind? The filth of the mind is shanki, doubts, right? What is the filth of the body? The filth of the body is urine and or stool, right? So number one will be lagu shanka, and number two, removing waste in that way will be Dirgh Shanka, will be longer, right? So she said, "Main lag ke hit jaho." I'm going to go to the bathroom, number one, right? An nar tav paas badaho. And she tells her boyfriend that when I tell this to my husband, I'm actually going to come to you. Dohra nar khulayo jar te. Nar means nala. Remember we talked about nala, right? The waistband. Nar khulayo jar te gayi jar ke paas. So she told her husband, since I can't open my own nala, my hands are covered by mendi, why don't you open it for me? So her husband opens it for her, and she goes to her boyfriend. Jar ke paas. Jar meaning her boyfriend. Yar, basically. Jai niprit ke sangrami ranchik yanatras. And that guy was niprit. Niprit meaning a raja. So he was a king, the person who she was cheating with, right? Cheating on her husband. She was cheating on her husband with a king, right? So someone who's probably royal, someone who's probably, rich. And Orenal sang Rami, Ranchak kiya na tras, Ona Ramgi. Rami means she made love with him, right? Ranchak means not even a little bit. Kiya na tras. Tras means dar. She was not scared, not even a little bit, right? Adel, Mohor Parapat. Now Guru Sahib is giving a Rajniti Bachan here. A political, a political sikyama, a political teaching. They say Mohor Parapat. Mohor meaning a gold coin. If someone were to get a gold coin, hoye taka na levai. Taka meaning a regular coin, right? And taka were normally referred to like 2 pennies, you can say, So if someone were getting a gold coin, why would they go after pennies, right? Bin dine tan sara ta ko tan devai. If someone were getting a gold coin, why would they go after pennies? Meaning to say that, like, in this case, her current spouse probably was not financially well, right? And on the other side, her boyfriend is a king or someone who is very tani, very rich, So why would she be spending her time with someone who doesn't have any money, right? Because they're showing the mentality of this woman. She's just about money, right? Bin dine tan sara ta ko tan devai tani tyag nirtan ko ke ko grih javai. Who will leave behind a rich person and go to a person's house who has no money? Nirtan means without any money. Ho rav tyag kar. Who will leave behind a king? Rang kavan chitalave, and go to a poor person, right? So this is the way of the world. As a Rajniti Upadesh is not something that a Guru Sikh would do. It's the Upadesh that the world follows, right? It's the teachings that the world follows. They go towards the rich. They go towards the powerful. When power, money, fame leaves a person, then all your surroundings, those people that leave you, and those people are left, tell you who your true friends were. Right? Basically, that's the message here. Dohra nehe thaan ratman kar raja diyo uthaye lagi mehendiyan kar rahi nar badayo aayo. So she made love with him, and she comes back to her husband, and she shows her. She's like, my hands are still covered with mehendi. So she has her nala closed up by her husband, right? So she does the bet, right? She commits to the bet. Bad sunat murak utheo pe na sakyo pachan. So when she comes back, she's like to her husband, she's like, oh, mera nala tusi bando. Can you close up my waistband? Ban sunat. Ban means words. By hearing these words, sunat means to listen. Ban sunat murak utheo. That murak, her husband, right? Pe na sakyo pachan. That murak, he got up to tie her waistband, and he could not understand the deception that she displayed on him. Badyo band ijar ko. Ijar meaning salwar, pajami ke rande. Badyo band ijar ko. He tied up the waistband or the nala of the pajami. Adik preet manaman. And in his mind, he's so happy that his wife came to him to do this. He's so happy that his wife is loving him in this way, where she wants him to, do all these little things for her. Preet kaisi. So, but he doesn't know that she displayed him, right? So now, in the last line, there is a message. Preet kaisi tan bada, kas kaisiyo hoye. No matter how much love comes inside your heart, no matter how much pains you have to suffer. There's a duality here. No matter how much love comes inside your heart, no matter how much pain comes inside your body, to taran so dosti pool na kariyo koi. Never make friendship with such a deception, such a woman who is on the path to deceiving you. Never make friendship with that person who is filled with these afghans, right? Who's filled with deceit, who is filled with Kaam, who's filled with jealousy, who's filled with greed. She's filled with greed and Kaam. These two things she was filled with, right? Amara says that no matter how much love comes inside your heart for that person, or no matter how much pains you have to suffer, don't make friendship with such a person, right? Like Murak Sionalu Jivali ka lagi. So Satsanga, this is the end of the 18th Charitr, and we're going to explore the 19th Charitr in the next video. Please forgive us for our many mistakes, and we'll see you in the next video. Ji Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.